So as I mentioned with the going live notification of this stream today, part of me really wants to drop this game, and the other part of me just wants to finish it off, and then like I could forget about it without like feeling bad about not finishing it off. Also, I actually thought ahead of time to get the game starting to load ahead of time, which I should do like more often at the beginning of streams, but a lot of the time I forget, but I remembered this time, so that's cool. As of yesterday, I've now finished off every single mission that Fire Emblem Awakening has to offer, except for Apotheosis, which I'll do sometime in the near-ish future, and then Fire Emblem Awakening will be done with. As for Three Houses, I gotta finish off this freaking route, and then I'm gonna basically be done with Three Houses. I don't think I'll be able to motivate myself to do, like, any more here. I really don't want to battle. 2% of people do Seminar, huh? I mean, I can explore and do, like, I don't know. Maybe just Seminar? That's what's easiest to me or something, and then an Explore? Oh, there's, like, the fishing thing at the end, or whatever the heck. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of want to see this game through to the end. Sometimes I wonder if I should start saving in other slots, so I don't potentially soft lock myself by not being strong enough before, like, certain missions. Maybe I'll do exactly that. Just like that. But yeah, it seems very much like this whole month of January, at the time that this is being streamed, has been very much on the channel a mix of Assassin's Creed and finishing off Fire Emblem games that I never properly finished off. I might just do We can make maximum use of the lesson if we explore anyway. Didn't I, like, completely forget to use any of my activity points last time? I'm fairly certain I did. Was the thing. Hello, Tara. I believe that Claude is gonna be, like, the one person that I give, like, really, really weird builds to and such. Is the thing. So, it probably benefits me to give him a whole bunch of additional skill points through things like this. Because I don't think I'm gonna go for any crazy builds on anybody else, because I just don't really want to, like, bother with it, is the thing. I think Claude is the only one that I'm gonna do anything, like, spicy with. So I'll do that with him. I'll motivate some other nerds, I guess, just because. Is there anyone that needs, like, spicy things? I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm giving the crazy build to Yuri. I'm just gonna freaking give Yuri some additional skill points for the rest of the month anyway. I can't believe I forgot to use all my activity points. But yeah, I'm still feeling really kind of demotivated about this game in general. Been continuing to work on, like, this video essay that I'm putting together on this game as the subject. Because, yeah, I'd very much just like to kind of finish off, be like, okay, I don't have to feel obligated to come back to it again and experience the same stuff, like, over and over again, and yada yada. So I mean, that's my whole situation with this game at the moment. I know that you need to, like, practice riding stuff, so I'll bring you in for some additional skill points as well, I guess? Is what we'll do. Something like that-ish. Is my thought process. Maybe. But yeah, all in all... Oh, well, that works good for me. But yeah, all in all, my whole situation with this game right now is just like... I just want to finish it off, you know? Just want to see if I can bum rush it. Which would make Maddening mode, like, way more challenging, to the point that it is potential. It does have the potential for me to soft lock myself. But if I'm dropping frames right now. Why is this happening? Are we back from the dropped frame slideshow, maybe? I don't know why my computer, or network, I guess, just randomly starts dropping frames like that sometimes. I guess it's over now. I'll do some gardening and such. What was I just talking about before everything just died a second ago? I have literally no idea. I have not a clue. Here, do the thing, or whatever the heck. Sure. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna wind up, like, bum rushing this game, essentially, which will make it extra hard on Maddening, which you know, might make it spicier? I don't know. Would this, just in case it doesn't max you out, I'll give this to Lorenz and see what he thinks. What you think, man? Okay, so I guess the special always maxes out motivation or something like that. Hilda Yuri can partake in whatever the hell this is. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind of go through my regular routine of things, but in like super speed and stuff, because I don't want to play this game anymore. Raphael, Claude, Leone, huh? So something for Claude, and sure, we'll do that. And then Raphael could get like a meal next time or something like that. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be speed running, but I'm just gonna be like not really doing much grinding, if any, is the thing, except for maybe with Claude, I guess. Just freaking going and yoinking what I can quickly, and then being on my merry way and just getting this game done with, because there's so many other things I want to move on to. And 3 Houses has held me back so much. How many episodes in this series is there right now? There's like 270 something, 280 something. I don't remember. It's something like that. I was debating about not even going to the Holy Tomb to save some time, honestly. There's a lot of hours in this game, and this is stream like 58 now or something like that. This is like the 58th time I've streamed this game. I mean, I can double check that number and say what exactly stream this is. This is, no, I guessed exactly right. This is literally the 58th time on this channel that I've streamed this game. My goodness, I want to play other games. It has been a year and a half since this game came out. Did I see a nut? Yeah, I did. Yeah, let's return to the monastery. So, man, I really wish that, you know, Maddening Classic had been out for the time that, you know, I played Blue Lions there. Oh, if you wanted to watch an Acoustic Harmonia stream, but Twitch said black screen of doom. Is it giving you a black screen again, Lancer? I'm sorry to hear about that, but I hope you're doing well today. Also, I don't know if you heard the news that the other day I managed to finally get Spot Pass working for Fire Emblem Awakening on Citra. That was pretty cool. So, did that, and now all that's left is Apotheosis. And that's it. Did all the Spot Pass missions, and some of them were hell. Some of them were easy, some of them were freaking hell. It was interesting. I am... Oh yeah, anybody can trade me now. And now there's like time skip and stuff. Yes, you missed the stream because you were asleep. Big sad times. Way up. You missed me raging once. That was cool. I don't know. Just randomly build up some things. I don't really have much rhyme or reason to this anymore. The reason to which I'm working on a video essay on is a thing. Imagine it was on Priam's mission. Priam's wasn't too bad. I managed to get it second try, actually. I managed to find a way to jank it over, even with all the enemies that had counter. Yeah, sure, I'll develop that, I guess. Is the thing, like, Priam's was a little bit spicy, but I did like the other DLC ones that I hadn't done yet, so the 5 Anna firefight and the roster rescue. Freaking roster rescue made me rage and get like genuinely mad at the game. Is the thing. A versus one wasn't actually that bad. Managed to do that in one try. At first I thought it'd be pretty bad, but like it wasn't. As it turns out, sure, I'll just develop things and then I'll like finish exploring. We still have a lot of support conversations since it like only just recently rolled around the time skip. So we can, oh yeah, it's the freaking War Council thingamabob. So Claude needs to work on lances a little bit, even though he sucks at them, because he needs like C in lances. Become a Wyvern Lord or something like that for me to give him Defiant Crit. This is probably gonna be like the only spicy build that I do, because like I'm tired of this game. But I wouldn't mind breaking Claude. I just want to make sure that his goal is set to that. So yeah, we're basically bum rushing things now. Let's go ahead and instruct. Do you have a sauna bonus? No, you don't. I'll just give you stuff anyway, though, Leone. Sure. Let's get this to be, I suppose. To be or not to be. Hey, look, Swordbreaker. Let's go ahead and praise you. And then just randomly develop bow, I guess. I don't know. And then, like... I don't know. Yuri over here can develop this a wee bit. Maybe. He's so close to having C+. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just, like, develop this. And then, like, you need to develop riding, don't you? Yeah, let's develop riding a little bit. I'll probably toss you into Valkyrie later. Most likely. Okay, there we go. Dexterity, whatever. Yeah, I can develop my DLC units because they're like spicy spice, I guess. Oh, great, the freaking budding talent that she can never use in brawling. I'm not gonna bother on that front. Let's just develop this a bit. This is what we do. Dang. Dang, man. Balthus. Get this to C for funsies and stuff. I don't know what spell you just got. I also still don't know how to get more Abyssian seals. I completely forgot that since, you know, I took a half a year break from this game. I'm gonna look it up right now. Fire Emblem 3 houses Abyssian seal. To get into those classes. Abyssian exam pass, that's what it's called. Whatever, same thing. Let's see here. Where do I get it? The answer is purchase from Abyss at Pagan Altar. So I guess you buy it with like Renown or something. So we can probably, in theory, get up to unlimited, but like whatever. It says a lot about this game that you only did one run and you bum rushed it because you were getting sick of the gameplay loop already. Yeah. As I mentioned, currently working on a video essay on that very subject and why I don't really like the way this game paces itself. Sure, Lawrence, you can get some random riding experience, I guess, or something. Is the thing. Like, in the script that I've been working on, I might have already mentioned this on stream, but I guess I'm mentioning it again. I might not have mentioned it at all, even. But, essentially, it talks about how, in a game like Fates, that has branching storylines, at least then you have, like, the branching part, like, right at the beginning, essentially. Well, not right at the beginning, but, like, after an hour or two, essentially. And then any, like, future save file that you start, you can start right at that branching point. But in Three Houses, you have to experience, like, the exact same freaking anywhere from 20 to 50 hours to start things out, just to get to the part where, like, things change and stuff. Do I still have a T-tab open? I do! I'm honestly surprised I didn't close that. Let's see here. So, happy likes cinnamon blend, I guess. And I also talk about how things like I mentioned this during the Awakening stream the other day, but
I don't know the first thing about tea.
Yeah, neither do I.
Wow, that
but
smells good.
Did
you pick this out just for
what
me?
was my freaking thought process?
Thanks.
I was just talking about how I mentioned this during the Awakening stream the other day. But, oh yeah, the main kind of argument that Three Houses makes, which is really fascinating, is the idea of, like, there is no right option. Like, in Fates, there was the two... Oh, I'm just looking at the... Yeah, you like that. There was, like, the two main routes, and then, like, the third route where it's like, oh, you save everybody. You bring peace to, like, the whole land, and it's, like, the best true ending or whatever the heck. Plans for the future. Sure.
Nice.
Whereas in Three Houses, there is no, like, option where you save everybody. You always have to take one side, and you don't like that, I don't think. You like that. And there's always, like, characters who die along the way. Like, there is no way to avoid that, and it makes the argument that... Hold on.
More than a decade. I can't remember what they look like.
Admonish, chat, and praise are the valid answers here. Praise. There we go. Thanks, Serenus Forest. So it's fascinating how it makes, like, the argument that there is no right option. There is no, like, you know, solution where everybody winds up, like, A-okay and safe and nothing bad happens, yada yada. I'm buff as heck. Oh, I'm glad we got to see that line. My goodness.
Let's have tea again soon. Next time,
so it's interesting how there is no, like, correct, true canon route. So it seemingly makes the argument that, like, there is no completely right option. All that you can do is, like, stick by what you believe and fight for that and try to see it through to the end with the best outcome with that kind of route in general, I guess. But the thing is, that whole argument is kind of like negated and loses its meaning when you don't actually get to make that choice. Like, this game makes the argument that, like, hey, no matter what choice you make, there is no, like, wrong answer. There's no bad answer, no, like, truly right or wrong answer here. It's just a matter of perspective, so stick with what you believe, see it through to the end. But that argument kind of loses its meaning when you yourself don't actually make that choice, because that choice is hidden behind another unrelated choice. The game never actually proposes to you, hey, there's this massive conflict going on. Here's the Lester Alliance, here's the freaking, whatever the heck, Fargus Kingdom of Fargus, and the Justian Empire, whatever the heck, she's forgetting things about this game. Here's what they all stand for, this is why they're all fighting, yada yada. Now make your choice and, like, stick by one of them. Apparently he'll learn how to smite.
One step before the next.
Like, the game never does that. Instead, you just come to the academy and it's like, oh, which one of these freaking group of brats would you like to teach warfare to at this very strange institution? And that choice is what determines what side of the war that you go on. And it's not... So, even though there is seemingly, like, no right or wrong when it comes to, like, your answer or whatnot, you don't actually get to make the choice of, like, standing by what you believe in. The only choice that you get to make is, like, which group of students that you want to that you want to teach, which inadvertently chooses for you what, like, your morals are gonna be as Byleth and, like, what side Byleth is gonna take and such. So, seminar here is maybe what I'll do just because and stuff. Bow and authority. Lance and... Sure, Lawrence is giving a seminar. Hello everyone, I'm Lawrence Hellman Gloucester. Today we are going to be learning how to seduce the populace. Imagine. Well, let's go ahead and do that and stuff. Cool.
I'm finding my...
Sure, man. So what I kind of propose in general with, like, the main problems that I have with Three Houses are the fact that the main arguments that it makes lose its meaning because you don't actually ever get to make the choice yourself. The customizability is, like, fake customizability. The game preaches that, like, oh, you can make anybody into anything and, like, do whatever the heck. Except there's still gender-locked classes, so the only restrictions on what a character can become are determined by nothing apart from their gender, which is, like, the stupidest thing ever. And because of things like assets and flaws, the game still rewards you for putting them down, like, one very, very specific route, and punishes you for doing, like, anything else. So while it preaches customizability, it doesn't really have an environment that rewards doing things in your own way like that, if that makes sense. Then there's the whole issue of, like, the same first half over and over again, and, like, the whole thing where it's like there's a limited amount of story stuff to do in each playthrough, where every time you do literally any action, it inches you closer to the end of the game and never being able to play, like, that save file ever again once you beat the final boss, unlike games like Fire Emblem Awakening, where it's like, oh, you still have the overworld, you still have, like, side battles you can do, maybe some paralogs and stuff. You can continue to grind and, like, deck out your party in case you want to, like, wreck the final boss more. You can try to do, like, crazy builds, maybe make some street pass teams, or, like, the multiplayer thing in the case of Fates or something like that. Whereas in Three Houses, you beat the game and it's like, well, guess that save file is now just freaking in save file hell and you can never really use it ever again. I guess I'll develop Lances, whatever the heck. So, and I'm pretty sure I already mentioned, like, the whole same first half being, like, really repetitive and annoying. If I was in charge of restructuring Three Houses, what I would do, most likely, is have it be so that at the beginning of the game, there is no choice about, like, which house to teach. Rather, you and the other professors, I guess, just kind of generally teach them all. And then, like, you can bring whoever you want on a mission, yada yada. The ones that you don't bring on a mission will also, like, gain some experience in the background, just like the other students before you recruit them, if you even recruit them anyway. Stuff like that, so they don't lag too far behind. And if you're teaching, like, all the classes, then you can learn a little bit about all of them along the way. And I would have it be so that while most missions would allow you to select almost anybody from the pool of students, sometimes there'd be, like, some restrictions, I would say. And I would have it be so that in the pre-time skip, there would be at least one mission pre-time skip for each house respectively, specifically. Like something like the Gautier Inheritance mission with Sylvain's older brother could be like a Blue Lion specific mission, because they see it as like a Blue Lions matter or something like that. So you would get the experience of going into certain missions with just that house in specific in the missions that are specifically for that house. And hello Guzma, hope you're doing well today. Sorry, I'm just like rambling on about how I changed this game and such. And during those missions, you'd be able to see like how these characters interact with each other. You'd be able to like talk with the house leaders like Dimitri, Claude, Edelgard, learn a little bit more about them and such. And maybe have some of those cutscenes that are normally exclusive to each of their routes where they talk a little bit about their past. Like Edelgard talking a little bit about like what happened to her in the past, Dimitri talking about like his revenge and the tragedy of Dusker, stuff like that. And you could learn little bits about it throughout the story as it goes on and such like that. And then I would say that once the time skip rolls around, you wouldn't be defending the monastery against Edelgard, because then that would be like really awkward if you like joined up with her later. But instead defended the monastery against like the freaking faction known as those who slither in the dark in this game, because it's like, hey, then it's not like you're going against any of the houses in specific or whatever the heck. Why do you have a budding talent in riding? And hello Hawks. Hold on. I'm just gonna develop this, I guess. And then after the time skip, I would have it be so that you come to the monastery, talk to Sedith, and he's like, oh, now that Rhea's freaking gone and stuff, you're basically like the second in command, so what do you want us to do? And then, from there, you would then have the choice. After the first 40 however many hours of pre-time skip, and the pre-time skip should be a little bit shorter as well. And after seeing like the perspective of each of these sides and what they all stand for and believe in, that's where I think the choice should be. If you want to go join the Leicester Alliance and help bring peace to Fodlan, if you want to go to the Kingdom of Fargus and help to heal Dimitri's wounds and have him find his humanity again and such, or if you want to disband this section of the Church of Saros or whatever the heck and go join Edelgard and her conquest and such. And then your decision would actually carry meaning and such, and it would actually be like based on your own perspective and preferences and such, rather than being hidden behind another choice of like which group of students you want to teach. And then I would also have it be similar to Fates, where like in further save files you could just resume from the point where you made the choice as well. Is what else I would do. I'm just gonna like randomly develop this because whatever I guess, or something. So that is, I thought I heard my Dogi for a hot second. So that is generally how I would change Fire Emblem 3 houses to be like structured in a much more engaging and much more meaningful way, I would argue. But I'm gonna have like a dedicated video on this subject in the near future. Is the thing. You are going to keep on focusing on stuff there, methinks. But yeah, so I'm kind of fed up with this game the way that it is. I do think that I would enjoy it a lot more if it was in a format like what I just kind of proposed without going too in depth. And there's that whole situation. But yeah, I'm doing alrighty. Part of me, whenever I pick up this game again, I'm always just like, ugh. But I put myself through it to like see it through to the end anyway, and yada yada. So I mean, I'll do another exploration, I guess. And stuff. We're just gonna freaking bum rush this game because I'm so tired of it. Apparently I have like a quest for like fishing or something. Fishing out the big one? I don't know. One day you'll write about this game's multiple paths and how its bloated nature is counterintuitive. Yeah, I feel like there is a really cool world built here. Like, a lot of games out there will have like a world that you see firsthand, and that's just like the surface level stuff, and it's just like, yep, take our word that there's probably something deeper going on in the background, but like you never actually get to know about any of it and such. But Three Houses, you read about the lore and like the library, you hear about it in dialogue and stuff, and it really goes to show like how much time the developers put in to like developing an entire history to this fictional world to the point that it feels real. Like there's a lot of stuff here that's really fascinating to kind of game worlds I've ever seen in my life, honestly, and I think that's really fascinating. But unfortunately, to experience that, the kind of format that it puts itself in just doesn't, like, share everything that was built in the best way that it could, you know? Just because of, like, the restrictiveness of the gameplay and the way that everything is structured and yada yada. So, Three Houses is, like, one of the best examples, I would argue, of a game where there's, like, some absolutely fantastic stuff under the surface there. It's just that the surface itself is not developed in the best way and makes it a little bit too much of an expectation to get to all the stuff that's underneath the surface that all the devs and writers and such work so hard on. So it's a little bit of a sad situation in that case. Yeah, sure, just do that, I guess. I don't know, I have a very strange relationship with Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, when this game first came out, I was praising the heck out of it, and I was like, man, this is like nothing but good. But now I just like, man, it's certainly a game, to say the least. It is certainly a game and a half. Freaking eat up, have fun. Get your motivation back. We're going to the story battle in a hot second. I have no idea what the story battle is gonna be. Maybe I'll have a little bit more motivate. Why did I just feed Petra? Whatever. I'm probably not gonna be using her. I love Petra as a unit and a character, but like, I don't think I'm gonna be using her in this playthrough just because I have, like, you know, I'm using all the DLC characters and such. Wow, wait. Am I running out of food items? Wait. No, they're all fed already and stuff. How badly did I disrespect Grima? Hello, hello, Supreme King. But I mean, Grima was defeated like a year ago or something like that. It was only like recently that I came back to Fire Emblem Awakening to do like all the post-game and DLC and stuff. But Grima was defeated back in... It wasn't November last year, because November last year was when I tackled Apotheosis for the first time and I failed. Was it? It was around the summer-ish of last year, I believe, that I took on Grima. And it actually wasn't too bad. But then this year, and especially like nowadays with the new year, has been me trying to finish off all the post-game stuff. This whole month has been me trying to finish off what's left in this playthrough of Fire Emblem Three Houses and be like, yes, now it's done with and I can move on to other games and things. This is the A button, right? Okay, it's the A button. I completely forgot. And going back to Awakening to finish off everything it has to offer. And then once both are done, I'll feel better about moving on to something like Fates. And yeah, Lancer, do you agree that you like that Three Houses actually goes into the history of the world instead of focusing exclusively on the now? Oh, is that the freaking big one I needed to catch? Sweet. Hi there. Cool. Yeah, like, I feel like Three Houses is like one of the most built-up kind of worlds that I've ever seen in any game ever. Like, they constructed an entire in-depth, crazy history around this game, which is like really fascinating, instead of just, you know, just writing what's necessary for the story. Like, they write an entire history for this fictional world and the continents around it as well and such. It's honestly really fascinating. I just wish that it was all in like a better format that let you like appreciate it better. Like, there's, in my opinion, a bit too much digging under the surface that needs to go on for that kind of thing, I guess. I am going to use you to train at my Reason match. I don't know, I have a very strange relationship with Three Houses and such. I would change a lot of things. Oh, another one of the things that I would change is I would have it be so that, you know, with the current format of Three Houses, it's... Wait. Oh, and its skill level's lower than mine. Oh. Okay, another one of my big issues, as I was mentioning earlier with this game, is the fact that every time you do anything, it just inches you closer to the end of the game, and the end of the game is like the point of no return. Like, once you've beaten the final boss and that save file's done forever. You can never do anything on that save file ever again, unless you saved right before the final boss, in which case you can redo the final boss at like whatever your current strength is, I guess. But even so, that's it. Like, the save file itself essentially is void and null after you reach the end. Like, so there's not a whole lot of motivation to like make builds and grind and stuff like that, because all that helps you do is get through the main story. There's no like side missions or anything like that at the end, or like an overworld map like Awakening, Sacred Stones, or Echoes, something like that that you can prepare for. Like Echoes, you can prepare for crazy endgame dungeons. Awakening, you can prepare for things like spot pass missions or DLC missions, stuff like that. Sacred Stones, there was the freaking... I've never actually beat Sacred Stones, but there was like the freaking crazy Tower of Challenges thing that I don't know what it's called. That that was really intriguing and such. Like, there's these things that, like, motivate you to do, like, more in a save file. But considering that Three Houses only has you do, like, the main story, and that's it, and every single time you use a single activity point, you perform, like, any action, it inches you closer to that point of no return when that save file becomes, like, void and null. So another thing that I would change about Three Houses is I would have, like, the next story, I would have it be like a Fates kind of format, where the next story mission is accessible from any time, from, like, from like a menu that has like the next missions that you can do, which is like some skirmishes, the next main story mission, or even like some DLC missions. I'd have something like that. And then the monastery would be like the equivalent of my castle, where you can come to it anytime that you want. You can explore it, talk to anybody anytime you want, yada yada. Instead of it being like, oh, you literally have a finite number of times that you explore the monastery, and then the save file's just done forever until you start like a new save file, I guess. And I would have it be so that you could do like unlimited battles if you do want to like grind and such. But I would also have that be in a Fates kind of style format, where the enemies that you battle are based around like the level that you're currently at. So you can't like over level yourself easy peasy. You can gain, like, if you went to grind, you could gain like maybe 1 or 2 levels, and then you're probably gonna be barely gaining any experience, so you can't like easily break yourself. Like, this was a problem in Awakening with its DLC grinding thing, where like the moment you have access to it, it's like great, you can now like max out your characters and such. I'm gonna take off my hoodie really quickly, and then you can just go through the rest of the game being broken, which is how I conquered Lunatic Plus Classic the first time that I made it past chapter 4, by making my crazy Nosferatu tank build that's absolutely busted, and I don't know why it exists in that game. But in Fates, it was very much like, okay, there is like a DLC map where you can grind here on like skirmishes and such, but the enemies' levels are based around your own level, so you can't like grind to be too OP. And that's kind of the system that Fates already has here anyway. Also, my doggy has come to see me. Hey! Like, that's kind of the thing that Three Houses here already has anyway, with like the random battle enemies being based around like your own level. So if they had something like that with unlimited battles, and then as for like the, you know, lectures and stuff like that and the teachings, maybe have that only be available after every like 2 to 3 battles or something like that. Or have it be available after like every story battle, but every 2 to 3, like, and for sure available after every like paralogue or something. But when it comes to the little skirmish battles for grinding, maybe only available after every like 2 to 3 ones, so you can't like spam it and become like super OP. Like, you could grind for like 3,000 years if you wanted to, but that would be like no different from something like Awakening or Fates. And then when you're done with, like, once you've beaten the save file, you'd still have like all these side battles to do, maybe some more paralogs and characters to recruit, maybe some DLC missions that aren't just like the side story stuff. I do like the side story in this game. I do like the DLC side story in this game, but I do also miss the kind of format of having like DLC missions and other classes and stuff like that, like Awakening or Fates. So it'd be cool to have stuff like that to grind towards. Maybe some final like extra challenge, like Sacred Stones' freaking crazy tower thing, or Fire Emblem Awakening's Apotheosis, like a reason to continue to care about that file and continuing to develop your builds and units and stuff like that. And then still being able to, of course, explore around the monastery and do like these battles to grind and have your whole hub here and yada yada. And then with that kind of format, you could then look at a save file and be like, wow, look at all this progress that I have on here. Like, I can continue developing that and put that into good use with like the challenges that developers have provided. Instead of just being like, okay, I beat the story, this save file is just for all intents and purposes vetoed and deleted. Essentially. Apart from like progress that you transfer over to New Game Plus. Because apart from that, you freaking literally can't do anything in that file ever again. So I very much take issue with that, I guess. But yeah, personally, I think every SRPG should have a world map where you can visit towns and do generic battles, and also like side missions and other things that like, and some other challenges that give you like a motivation and reason to care about developing your units. Like in Fire Emblem Awakening, the best example of that is Apotheosis. In Fire Emblem Echoes, the best example of that is the crazy like post-game dungeon that didn't even exist in the original Gaiden, that you do on like the other continent and has like connections to Awakening and such. And in things like Sacred Stones, it's that freaking post-game like challenge tower thing that I don't remember the name of. Like, a lot of these games that have that kind of format have a reason for you to continue caring and continue developing that file. Whereas Three Houses, just like, you beat the game, say goodbye to your save file, it's gone. All those freaking hundreds of hours that you put in, all them freaking 265 hours in my case, it's probably gonna be closer to 300 by the time I beat Golden Deer. Yeah, just say goodbye to it. Because for all intents and purposes, it's gonna be basically deleted. Let's just see these support conversations.
The earth nurtures the trees, and the trees bear fruit. It's the earth itself that gives us all life. O Fodlan, land of plenty, bless us with the gift of delicious food.
What are you doing?
Oh, it's just you, Lawrence.
I was disturbed by your ridiculous blather. Must you recite it quite so loudly? And can you even call that nonsense poetry when it is utterly ignorant of rhyme and meter?
Ouch. You don't hold back, do you? I didn't know you were so particular about poetry. Ha! Maybe you have a secret poetry collection of your own hidden somewhere.
That's absurd. Where did you hear that? And just what was that poem about? It seemed to me that you were praising the land. But is it not the goddess who nurtures the land? Should your praise not go to her instead?
Of course you zero in on that detail. You really are a Fodlan noble through and through.
Certainly. Aren't you?
I'm not quite the same, no. Though noble blood flows within me, it can't change who I am at heart.
Pardon? I think you had best clarify.
Listen, Lawrence, you had ambitions of becoming the Alliance's ruler, didn't you? Would you like to try that for real? If you really want it, I wouldn't mind giving up my position.
What's this all of a sudden? That is not an offer to be made in jest.
I'm not joking around. I've been thinking it for a while now. I originally thought you were like a fox drawn in by the deer of the Alliance. But I was wrong. You're no thoughtless predator. You're trying to properly train the deer around you. Isn't that right?
That is my intention. But the ambition is insufficient. To rule well, a certain temperament is required. When we first met, I mistrusted you a great deal, and on my father's advice, I observed you closely. That is why I can say this for certain. You possess the qualities necessary to govern.
A compliment from you? That's about as rare as a deer standing on its hind legs and doing a jig.
Merely a statement of fact, one that is quite relevant to the future of the Alliance.
The future of the Alliance, huh? You really are devoted to your cause.
Depending on your actions, I may yet see fit to seize your position for myself. Bear that in mind.
I welcome the idea. It means I can feel safe vanishing whenever I see fit.
Vanishing? Do not tell me you intend to die in this conflict. You cannot shape the future if you do not live to see it.
Ha! First you compliment me, and now you're worrying about me? What have you done with the real Lawrence? No, I'm not going to die. I'm tougher than I look. Besides, this war isn't just for the Alliance anymore. It's going to decide the fate of all Fodlan. It would be cruel to leave you with the burden of uniting all of Fodlan by yourself, don't you think?
Burden? Please. If there were none other suitable, I would gladly become a king. Or even an emperor.
Well, well. I guess I shouldn't take Lawrence of the famous House Gloucester so lightly. Really, though. Don't you go dying on me either, Lawrence. We're going to need men like you in the age to come.
The same to you, Claude. A world without you would be ever so dull.
Yeah, so it seems like Lawrence does, you know, change a bit over time, or at least show a different side of himself, I guess.
Strategically speaking, if I poised an archer to lie in wait here, and then lured the enemy in over here...
Lysithea, are you up late studying again?
I am, but I don't see how it's any of your business.
Look, you don't need to work yourself so hard. You're already as skilled as they come. There aren't many people out there who can match you. Everyone knows that.
I apologize for my sharpness. I just feel pressured.
Why would you, of all people, feel pressured?
I place a lot of personal pressure on myself. I need to become as strong as possible to put my parents at ease.
When I met with Count Ordelia before, he said you were his pride and joy. But he also said his only concern was that you might be pushing yourself too hard. If you really want to make your parents happy, surely you should start by taking care of yourself.
That's true.
Then it's settled. Get some rest. Save your energy for tomorrow's battle.
You really are very mature, Claude, despite the impression you give off. And I clearly have plenty of growing to do. I probably don't have much room to come down on you for harping on me.
Oh, really? Does that mean you won't get mad if I treat you like a child from now on?
That is absolutely not what I said. Just after you finally earned a small degree of respect from me, too.
Hey, just think about it for a second. You're the only one in the world I treat like this. That means you're a pretty special person to me.
You think I'm special?
Take it however you like. Or maybe the thought is too much for a kiddo like you.
How dare you!
Yeah, don't do anything you might regret. I don't want to be turned to dust.
I'm feeling generous, so I'll let you off easy this one time.
Well, that's good of you. All joking aside, go get yourself some shut-eye, okay? After all, if you don't hurry up, the boogeyman might come out and eat you!
All right, buddy, you asked for it!
Guess some things never change. And while that was going on, the doggy came into my room to like visit me and such, but then she skedaddled. Also, I'm gonna have a look at the audio levels and see if I need to like adjust things to see if it's too quiet or too loud. I'm planning to hopefully create an SRPG one day and know that I take your criticisms of this game into account while brainstorming ideas. I feel like Fire Emblem Three Houses is a very, very fascinating game to analyze from like a lot of different perspectives. Through the arguments that it makes, through the way that it structures its story, through the world that it develops, all sorts of things. Like, when I make this video essay, I'm probably going to focus on the things that I don't like about Three Houses, but there's like, I could probably spend an entire day rambling about like different things about Three Houses, honestly. Like, there's just so much to unpack.
Oh, do you have an itch back there?
I'll turn up the sound a little bit.
Scratch it on your own, can you?
Hi, Marianne.
Oh, Claude, it's just you.
Sorry, I know you're in the middle of an important discussion with Dorte, but could I talk to you?
About what?
It's about this thing you think you're burdened with. I've tried to guess what it is.
Please don't. This is making me a little uncomfortable.
There's no reason to feel uncomfortable. It's not like I plan on saying it aloud. But if my guess is correct, there's something I want to tell you. Will you hear me out?
Fine, I will listen.
Once upon a time, in a faraway place.
What the? Are you telling me a story?
Just listen. Once upon a time, in a faraway place, there was a young boy. This boy came from a despised lineage. In short, his mother was a daughter of the enemy. So the young boy was treated horribly by everyone around him. He hadn't done anything wrong. Everyone hated him simply for existing. Yelling, fighting back, explaining himself. Nothing he did could change his situation. When he was finally old enough, he ran far away from home. He escaped.
It sounds to me like he had no choice. I would have done the same had it been me.
Thing is, after he ran away, he still found himself in the very same position. People in the outside world hated him for where he came from.
Well, now that's...
The boy thought he had no place to go. All he could do was destroy the boundary between the inside and the outside worlds.
Destroy the boundaries?
Right. If there was no outside and inside, just one side to share, then the people outside wouldn't have a reason to hate him anymore, right? It wouldn't be easy, but if he managed it, he could shrug off that burden. The point is, people are born with burdens to carry. That much is undeniable. But whether they bind us or we cast them aside, that's up to us. So I think you should try to cast yours aside, Marianne. Put that heavy burden down. It's time.
But I don't know if I can do it.
It's okay. I'm here for you. We're the same, and I can help you.
The same? Claude, we have nothing in common.
Hey, did you see that, Dorte? Your friend just smiled at me.
Thank you for sharing your story. I suppose I could try casting aside burden, as you say. We can try together.
Let's do that. And when we're free, we can change the whole world.
As I was just saying, Fire Emblem Three Houses is a very, very fascinating game to analyze from a lot of different perspectives.
I feel like I'm drowning in responsibilities. Claude, take my mind off it all. Regale me with another of your weird childhood stories.
Okay then. How about an old story from a foreign land that my dad told me when I was a kid? Once upon a time, there was a white camel that got separated from his herd.
I'm so happy for that white camel. I really thought he was gonna die.
Was that story really worth bawling your eyes out over?
It was wonderful. Don't you know how moving that story is?
You know, I never thought much of it until today. But seeing you bawling like that, I do appreciate it a little more now.
What's that mean?
Well, you're always fake crying, aren't you? Getting all misty-eyed to make people think you're a delicate flower?
What? You're awful. I only cry when I'm sad.
Claim what you like, but I can spot real tears from fake tears any day of the week. Fess up.
If you understand me so well, maybe it's because you're no different.
How's that?
When you smile or laugh, it's not sincere. I can tell. I've only seen you genuinely smile a handful of times. Like when you're talking to the professor.
Wow, good one, Hilda. You hit me right in the gut. I guess you're right. I'm not so different from you in that way. But how did you come to realize that? Have you been watching me that closely?
I'm afraid so. My eyes seem to wander toward you of their own accord. What? Hold on. Forget I said that. I didn't say that.
Nope, no can do. Forgetting isn't something this crafty brain of mine is capable of. Besides, my eyes have a tendency to wander in your direction too. How else do you think I found out about your fake crying?
Huh? What are you getting at?
Say, Hilda, once everything's settled down, do you want to come meet my parents? I mean, don't get the wrong idea, you just seem interested in my family. Besides, you've opened up to me quite a bit, but I still haven't let you in on my own secrets. If you meet my parents, I think you'll understand, though it might come as a bit of a surprise.
Your family? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious.
Well then, if neither of us changes our minds before the opportunity presents itself, let's agree to go visit my home together.
Although, if it's a long journey, my brother might not be too happy.
True, that might be a tough nut to crack. As tough as Fodlan's locket.
I love that one line. Don't get the wrong idea, you just seem interested in my family. My goodness. And your criticism of once the game's over, it's over and you can't do anything else is the one you focus on the most. So in your game, when you beat the main story, you get a star, maybe a skull since it's about pirates, next to your save file, and the game brings you back to the world map outside the final area so the player can still mess around and do anything they haven't already. Yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about games like the last 3 3DS Fire Emblem games, for example, where it's like, once you've beaten the story, there's still a world here. It doesn't just go away. It doesn't just like vanish and be like, aha, guess you don't get to do anything anymore. Like, I feel like it just creates like a really, really dissatisfying experience when stuff like that is all, you know, taken away, especially if you've put like a lot of hard work into it.
Well, we've got another battle coming up. What do you think of our chances?
Winning is always the goal. At any rate, I've done everything I can to prepare.
That's the right attitude. I'm sure they're doing all they can on their side, too.
I don't doubt it, but however strong they are, it's no more than a Fodlan concern. Who knows how far this world extends beyond the boundaries of Fodlan? Talk of strength or weakness doesn't amount to much when it's only in relation to a tiny corner of the world.
Guess you're right. Thinking about it like that, even this war seems like a storm in a teacup.
Exactly. It's nothing more than an internal quarrel amongst the people of Fodlan.
Typical laid-back Claude. I always like talking to you. Your perspective on the world is so refreshing. Things I thought were obvious turn out not to be.
The way you think, that changes the way you see things. Common sense never tells the whole story. It's similar to what we were talking about before, about how you need to doubt yourself first.
True enough, but where did you get these ideas? that perspective of looking past the walls of Fodlan when it's all we can see in front of us?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
But I'm afraid now isn't the time. When this war is won, I'll tell you all about it. It'll be easier for me to show you than to tell you.
Show me. Are we going somewhere?
It's quite a distance. You'll start to appreciate how big the world is if you go.
Sounds eye-opening. I'll look forward to it. Can we call it a promise?
Yes, it's a promise. But first, let's win this war and leave it far behind us.
Sounds like Claude has a lot of travel plans with with a lot of people in these support conversations. He's getting a whole bunch of obligations put together here. And there's one more support conversation with Balthus, one of the DLC characters.
Balthus, you and I are of like minds, so I'd like to get your opinion on something.
Oh, is this about the age thing? As a rule, so long as she's younger than my own mother, it's fair game, pal.
Noted, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. Ever, really. Do you remember what I said about the first thing we need to accomplish in this war?
That bit about busting open the lid that keeps the people of Fodlan from the rest of the world?
That's right. I'd like to know your thoughts on the matter.
Okay. Well, everyone seemed to eat it up, so I'm fine with it too. Certainly not against it. In a world like that, my mom wouldn't have to fear what others think of her. But it all hinges on if you can shape reality into the vision you have in mind. That's no small task.
I had a feeling you'd say something like that. Please, go on.
I'm all for mixing up different ways of life and bloodlines. But who knows what it'll really mean for Fodlan? We'll be free from things that previously bound us. Walls will crumble. Things will change. Drastically. At the same time, the world we've defended for years could everything we've built up until now could fall to ash. Hard to say how it'll all shake out. All we can do is wait and see. Maybe all will end well. Or maybe not.
All I want is for everyone to accept each other. That's the ideal I'm striving for. It's deceptively simple when you think about it.
Look, if getting exactly what you wanted was easy, I'd be drowning in gold. Don't get caught up in the stakes. You just have to throw the dice and see where they fall.
Good advice. That's all we can ever do, really. I just have to do my best and prepare for the worst.
You got it. I can't help with funding, obviously, but you have my support.
Speaking of funds, you're not planning to sell the secrets of my origins for a quick payoff, right? There are people with deep pockets who'd love to see me fall. They'd pay well for information like that.
Don't worry, Claude, I wouldn't sell out a friend. Not even for a small fortune. Most likely.
Yeah, that's not worrisome at all.
I was just kidding. After all, I have that promise to look forward to. You won't let me down, right?
Oh, of course not. And that promise was what exactly?
About hooking me up with your mom. After we bust open that lid, of course.
Of course. Age difference aside, you know she's married, right?
I'm not a loon, Claude. I'm not trying to marry her. I just want some closure with my childhood crush.
Is that a fact? Well, it'll be interesting to see whether my father can kill you before my mother beats him to it.
Interesting set of support conversations there. Also, you just gotta throw the dice and see where they fall. That's literally like the definition of Maddening Classic, is honestly what it feels like.
Lysithia, it's no good for you to expose yourself to such strong sunlight. And a chill could steal upon you at any moment. You really ought to have worn a mantle. You have been running yourself absolutely ragged. Would you please consider taking some rest?
Enough is enough. I am fully aware. Now, stop following me.
I'm only concerned for your health.
That's great and all, but I feel fine today, and I'm perfectly capable of caring for myself. I don't have time to take a rest. I'm overloaded with work, and I have less time than everyone else. I just want to do my own thing. bring order to the Alliance, and put my parents' minds at ease.
No need to rush. How can you be so certain your lifespan is shortened anyway? I do not know who decided that, but consider me skeptical. If you are healthy now, and if you take proper care of yourself, you ought to live just as long as anyone else.
That's all well and good, but those vitamin-packed sweets you brought tasted weird.
If you want a healthy body, then you need to start with what you eat.
You have a point, but those health sweets are gross.
I sent for the finest in wholesome, healthy treats for you. I asked only for the very sweetest.
That was pretty nice of you. I'm sorry, Lawrence. Thank you for being so thoughtful. Still, I don't need bushels and bushels of them. Gaining a ton of weight won't exactly lengthen my lifespan either. I mean, I like to be able to hang out with you as much as possible, and for as long as possible.
Truly? Oh, I'm so glad. I feel the same. Even in an otherwise perfect future, I still cannot see a happy life for myself without you in it. In fact, the more time we spend together, the more essential to me you become. So let us walk, side by side, toward a future together.
Yikes! Keep it down, will you?
Why are you flustered? What is there to be embarrassed about? You know I will always care for you.
Okay, noted. Will you just calm down already?
You need not worry about a thing. I will look after you no matter what may come. After all, the future of Fodlan rests upon my shoulders, does it not?
I won't give up on myself either. Thanks for caring, Lawrence.
I don't know how I expected that support conversation to go, but like, I don't think I expected it to go quite like that, I don't think. Let's see here. For other supports, looks like Lawrence has one with Leonie as well.
Hey, got a minute?
Leonie, are we to sharpen swords again?
No, I came to give you this handkerchief back. Sorry, I know I held on to it for a while. You lent me this, remember?
I recall giving it to you. It is a noble's duty to give to the common folk. In return, the commoner need only pay respect.
That's nice. You left out the part where the nobles take all the stuff the regular folks make?
Yes, the common folk give the fruits of their labor, willingly, I might add, as a token of that respect. The head of San village offers his tribute in exactly that spirit, you know.
San? That's my village. You knew?
Of course. We granted exclusive hunting rights to San and forbade outsiders from poaching. In fact, when we received complaints about just that, we hired mercenaries to deal with the issue.
So that's what brought Gerald.
What was that?
Nothing. Look, just take the handkerchief. I'm returning something I borrowed from a friend.
Very well. As your friend, I will accept it.
You know, I really wish you wouldn't think of nobles as always giving and commoners as only receiving. Friends help each other, without thinking about status, and that help goes both ways.
Quite so. And when I require the aid of a friend, I assure you I will happily recognize it. But only with friends. In the main, I must continue to refuse assistance from the common folk. For a noble to accept would be disgraceful.
Huh. I always thought he was just stuck up. Turns out, he just has this grand idea of nobility he's trying to live up to. Oh no! I didn't even give him the handkerchief!
What did you give him then? What? You like clearly handed him something and he clearly took something. So what did you give him? Oh no, I accidentally gave him my freaking collector's edition of Xenoblade Chronicles or something. I don't know. Welp? Okay, well.
Hey, Raphael. I finally finished that necklace for you. Here you go.
Huh? Oh! Whoa! This is incredible! And so shiny. You're like an artist, Hilda. How'd you do this?
Just like I told you, I put the flowers and the shiny rocks in a bottle, and then poured in some resin to preserve everything.
I thought the flowers you had were looking a little pathetic, so I added a few of my own. It was hard work, making sure the flowers and the stones were spread evenly, getting rid of the air bubbles.
What's this? The part you hang around your neck? I thought you used the one I gave you.
Oh yeah, no, that's a cord I braided. I was going to use metal, but some people are allergic to metal, so I figured better safe than sorry. Anyway, you didn't give me much to work with, and look what I pulled off. I am a miracle worker.
It's gorgeous. Beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. Thank you, Hilda.
Whoa, hold up. What's with the blubbering?
It's just, I bet my sister never got anything so pretty in her whole life. She's had to deal with so much because of me. I never got her anything this nice and cute before. She's gonna love it and be so happy.
Okay. Yes, okay, that's enough. Come on, you're embarrassing me here. If you're really that happy, I'm glad I put some effort into something for once.
Don't you always put effort into things?
That's sweet of you, but no, I don't want to put in effort and then disappoint people. It's dispiriting, not to mention tiring.
But what if they're not disappointed? Then they'd feel great, and you'd feel great too.
Yeah, you have a point there. I guess I'm realizing that now. You know, thanks to you, I'm starting to see things from my brother's perspective.
What do you mean? Do you have a big bro too?
I do. I've always thought of him as an overprotective nuisance, but now I feel thankful. Looking at you, I couldn't help but think, sometimes big brothers are okay.
I didn't do anything special though. It's natural for a big bro to look after his little sis. Oh, that reminds me. I still haven't found anything special enough to repay you for the necklace. I got an idea though. How about I help you make a tough-looking necklace for your big bro?
No need. I have a better idea. When the wars simmer down, why don't you and your sister come visit me?
Really? That's it?
Yeah, I want to make sure it suits her. And then I can adjust the cord if I need to.
Of course we'll come visit. I told my sis all about you, and she already wants to meet you.
Well, good. I look forward to it. In the meantime, hold me close to your heart.
What?
That's what the necklace would say if it could talk. Hold me close to your heart.
I don't know how I was expecting that support to go, but like, I don't know, what wasn't that? I mean, you could say that about a lot of these supports and such. Hold on. So Raphael still has one with Leone. He doesn't have any DLC ones. All right, let's see.
Hey, writing to your sister again?
You bet. Gotta reply to these things as soon as they come in.
You had one last week, too. It's great to see you're both so good about staying in touch. It's especially important when there's a war going on.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. My sister wrote to say how much she loved the painting supplies you sent.
Good. I'm glad gathering those pigments paid off.
You even made her a brush. I really appreciate you doing all that for her.
I was fascinated with painting at that age. I was a pretty artistic kid, if you can believe it. Not a lot of time for it when you're hungry, though.
Sounds like you had a pretty tough time growing up too, huh?
I guess so. We never thought of it that way. But it's true, the children in my village don't usually get to choose their futures. Any one of us could have had the talent for artistic genius and never even noticed. I was one of the lucky ones. I only got to follow my passion thanks to my father and all the other folks. That's why, once I come into my own, the first thing I'll do is head back there and help the other kids.
Oh, wow. It's like all the kids in your village are counting on you.
No need to exaggerate it. Besides, it's not like I'm unique. You're working hard for your sister's future, aren't you?
Yeah. It's like me and you are both carrying big weights. We should try sharing the weight with each other. You know, Lighten both of our loads.
Huh?
If we share our problems, then we only gotta carry half the weight, right? It works out for everybody.
It's probably a good thing you didn't try to take on your family's business. If you take half of my burden and I take half of yours, the total's still the same.
Nah, that doesn't sound right. Everything's lighter when you don't gotta carry it alone.
On second thought, you might be right. With the right attitude and the right partner to share the burden, maybe it is only half the weight.
Now you're getting it. It's a waste of energy to struggle alone when there's someone who can help you.
That's true. And I do hate waste, as you well know. So when it comes to working toward the future you're after, you know I won't fall short.
Great! And you should never fall short on sharing a big meal with me, too.
Deal.
Wow, I was finishing typing since I freaking type responses to things when it's in the middle of cutscenes, so I don't interrupt the cutscene and such. All right, I think that's Raphael's support. It's done. Let's see here. Let's see this.
Ah, Leonie. Off to train?
Already done. What about you? Off to draw?
No, I'm on my way back. I was thinking of adding a little color to my latest piece, so...
Come to think of it, I've still never seen your work. Here, let me take a peek.
It doesn't work like that. You have to let me know in advance. I need time to prepare.
Lighten up. Wow, look at all that paper. Are these all drawings? What should I look at first?
Wherever we travel, I try to capture the feeling and character of the landscape. I guess they've all kind of piled up. Each place is unique. Not just the geography, but also the clothing and architecture and so on. Everywhere has its own design sensibilities.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be only one way to do stuff like engraving, but it actually varies a lot.
Just within the Alliance, the styles are quite different between the North and South, and the Empire is even more diverse.
Oh, here's a landscape. What a bright blue sky. You really make it seem alive.
The blue of the sky changes with the season too. In the summer, it's darker, and yet in the winter, it's almost luminous. And, of course, the landscape below affects the sky's appearance by virtue of contrast. It's hard to get the color just right, so I spend a lot of time experimenting with pigments and... Oh no, I'm so sorry, I've been talking your ear off.
Listen, Ignatz, you need to become a painter.
Huh?
Don't say it's not useful. Your talent moves people. Someday, I'm sure your art will save someone's life.
Oh no, I wouldn't go nearly that far.
Remember that girl you told me about? You made her so happy, and you were only just starting out. Think about what you could do now that you've had so much practice. This is your calling.
You think so?
Yeah, it's something you can do that no one else can. I envy you. I wish I had a gift like that. So stop apologizing for your talent and just do it.
Thank you, Leonie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot to think about.
Maybe he'll finally pursue his art shenanigans after all. Is it just... Okay, there's gonna be some DLC ones with each other, looks like. Alright, let's see here.
Hilda? I wanted to thank you for helping me in the infirmary. I brought you these pastries.
Ooh, thanks. I'll put some tea on. Have a seat.
That sounds lovely, but I also wanted to apologize for always causing you such trouble.
It's no trouble. No trouble at all. Everything tastes better with friends, don't you think? I give you help, you give me sweets, we have a little tea party. It's a good arrangement, I'd say. I'm used to it now, so if it changed suddenly, I would feel disoriented.
I suppose if you're enjoying yourself, then it can't be that bad.
Sure, you don't seem to mind listening while I gab, so I'm enjoying myself plenty. But do let me know if I'm too boring.
No, you're not boring at all. In fact, you're,
very good at talking. You're also good with your hands. You can clean and organize better than almost anyone. I envy you.
Oh, stop. I'm blushing. I'm not as great as all that. We're both a lot different on the inside than we look on the outside, don't you think?
How do you mean?
People who see you think you're so proper, but you're actually clumsy. That's why I help you, because there are some things you just can't do.
I'm sorry you always have to clean up after me.
I didn't say I hated it. In fact, you've taught me a few new techniques I can use to persuade people. Maybe I'll start imitating you a little bit. I'll do the Marianne. That sheepish, sorry, and those quavering downcast eyes. But that might not work as well for me. People would probably assume that I'd hit my head.
Oh, well...
Aw, Marianne laughing at me. So rude and yet so adorable.
I'm so sorry. I just can't help it. When I imagine you doing those things, I...
Yeah. It's rather un-Hilda-like, I'll admit. Okay, that's enough laughing.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, are you alright? That tea's hot, Marianne. Be careful.
Yes. Oh, ouch, hot.
Come on, what did I just say?
I know, I'm sorry. Ow, hot.
Oh boy, a real steady hand, that Marianne. It's nice to see her laugh. Sure, she was laughing at me, but how can I get mad when she looks so dang cute?
Okay. Okay, Hilda has another one? Oh, probably one of the DLC ones. Ah, yes, with Balthus.
Balti? Still training at this hour? How unexpectedly diligent of you.
Ah, Hilda! How are things? Anything of note to report?
No? I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, I don't know. You haven't been approached by any lovelorn goons lately, have you?
Now that you mention it, it's been a few days since any guys have flirted with me.
Fantastic! They got the hint.
Whoa, wait a second. Are you pulling some weird prank on me?
Of course not. I'm just doing my best to keep my promise to Holst, that's all.
Oh, not this again. That was ages ago. I'm sure my brother's forgotten all about it.
Dead wrong, pal. I actually had the chance to see him recently, and he had a new request for me.
What? He told you to get rid of any guys who show interest in me so that I stay his innocent little sister forever?
That sounds more like Sedith than Holst, don't you think?
Fair point. What was the request?
Guys here have the gall to consider you a potential bride. It's my job to test them, see if they're worthy.
I don't like where this is going.
Since Holst isn't here to do the honors, I've spread the word that nobody is fit to marry you unless they can defeat the great king of grappling in a fight.
What? That's exactly the same as getting rid of them.
How so? It only eliminates the guys who are dumb enough to take up the challenge.
No one is that dumb. No one here thinks they can beat the stupendous king of grappling or whatever.
That's why I leveled the playing field by allowing sneak attacks. Plenty have already tried their luck. One guy actually tried to strangle me in my sleep.
Wow, a sleep strangler. He sounds like husband material.
And that's why I've been training so much. Can't let you end up with some weakling after all.
This is madness! If you keep getting stronger, there won't be anyone who fits the bill.
True. You could spend your whole life searching and never find a match for Balthus the Great. The only people who stand a chance are Holst and me.
To prove that you're worthy of my hand in marriage, you're going to fight yourself?
I always knew I was my own worst enemy. One day I'll finally meet my equal in battle. me.
So you're going to punch yourself out? Is that your idea of a romantic gesture?
When that fateful day arrives, Hilda, I want you to know that I intend to keep my word.
Huh. A girl could do worse, I suppose.
Yo, what the heck was that support conversation? Also, I didn't want to speak up like while it was happening, but I heard the capture card like bug out for a hot second there. I don't know if that was my headphones or if it was the capture card, but about halfway through that dialogue, it like skipped a beat and was strange. Audio just like was gone for like half a second. And I was like, what? So I hope it was my headphones and not the capture card, but like it could well have been the capture card. So I mean, there's that.
Hey, take this.
That smell. That sound. This is gold. A sizable stash of precious gold. What gives? Don't tell me you got your mitts on the church's vault.
You fool. It's simply a reward. Nothing to get in a tizzy over.
No way I can accept this, pal. Trust me, I haven't done anything to deserve it.
Just shut up and take it. Call it your fee for providing me with information. What you told me. The tale from your mother's homeland? It really helped me. Anyway, if you don't actually need it, I'm sure you'll find a use for it. Maybe take your mom out for a night on the town.
Looks like you're insisting then. Fine, I'll use it to buy her some good grub. But I thought you didn't actually find any answers in my little tale.
Not quite, but it helped me in other ways. I've stopped vexing myself over unimportant details, like who I am or who I think I might be.
That's all fine and good, but is it really worth its weight in gold? This is coin we're talking about.
Look, do you want it or not? Is there something else you prefer? Wow, that was one hell of a sigh.
Look, you're better than me at thinking and betting, but right in this moment, you're the fool. You. Do I like gold? Yes. Do I want it? Need it? Yes and yes. While we're at it, I like brawling. Women too. But there's something that I care about even more than gold, fighting, and women. Any ideas?
Oh, this is tough. Let me guess. Hopelessly losing every bet you place? A good drink?
You really think highly of me, don't you? Dead wrong. It's having a bash bro. A friend to fight with and fight for.
Seems I was a bit off base there.
I guess to you, everyone is either an underling or a business associate. But with a bash bro, there's no such thing as an overdue loan. No hierarchies or other nonsense. It's someone to trust, both in and out of battle. Someone to share life's ups and downs with.
I see. No need to reward a bash bro, I suppose.
That's the ticket. I know you were born into a world of trickery and exploitation, but you don't have to live like that anymore. Now you've got me.
I'm not accustomed to talks like this, I must admit. How can I frame this? Nobody even knows my real name. Are you actually comfortable confessing such a warmth towards someone so cold?
Clearly. No matter who you are or what you've done, I care about you. That won't ever change.
Now that is fresh.
I told you my feelings and you laughed. You're one of a kind, pal.
I'm sorry. I've got to admit, I thought I'd heard it all. But you've managed to surprise me. It's the first time anyone has ever said something so sincere without trying to get something out of me.
I could try to say it again with more swagger if that helps.
Nah, no need. Bash Bros has a nice ring to it. From here forward, we are forever Bash Bros, friend.
I've got your back, pal.
That was honestly a nice support conversation. I like that one. That one was good. Let's see these other ones.
Yeah! Come at me!
Balthus, you mustn't draw the enemy in so. Pray do not sacrifice yourself on my account.
Enough of that. Just watch my back like we planned.
1,000 pardons then.
while since we had such a close fight. How you holding up? You didn't seem like your heart was really in it this time.
I had some difficulty knowing the torment our enemy was going through. Bad enough to fall in combat, but to be felled by one so...
We're gonna pause it briefly because it looks like I'm dropping frames, which is like not good. And I don't want that to be in the middle of support conversation. Anyway, hello, Dara, the long-awaited sequel to Super Smash Bros. Now starring only Fire Emblem characters plus Mario DLC. What, free 3 houses? I mean, there's a lot of characters in it. I don't know why I'm dropping frames right now. I'm gonna resume that once the frame drops stop, so I don't have to worry about like skipping a beat and like, you know, missing dialogue and stuff. I might actually be over right now. Okay, the small break over, I guess. Okay.
Base as I.
Oh, if they regret anything, it's that you're worried about their humiliating defeat. Ego burn right there. You know, it wasn't so bad fighting at your side. They make a pretty good team, you and I.
It is because you have the courage to face your enemies head-on, leaving your flanks unguarded, and the generosity to allow less skilled fighters the glory of dispatching foes who take the bait. Every aspect of your tactics is a reflection of your incomparable virtue.
You have a way of understanding a situation, but also twisting it all up in your head. Impressive, really. The unrivaled king of grappling himself, that'd be me, trusted you enough to watch his back. Can't you just be proud and leave it at that?
The nickname is a difficult one to respect, though the man inhabiting it is more than worthy. If what I have said today has offended, which I would not doubt, then accept my humblest apologies.
You really are something else, you know that? I like your style, pal. I could see us teaming up as mercenaries and wandering from battlefield to battlefield. Admit it, that would be a grand old time, don't you think?
It would depend on the circumstances. Might I impose on you to come with me?
Right, there's always... Wait, what? Okay, we're here. Care to explain?
Must you make a mockery of everything? I have my own dream to pursue, not this twaddle. You assume I'd abandon the restoration of House Nouvelle to become a vagrant? Are you mad? Even among your fabled transgressions, this goes beyond the pale.
Definitely a fair weather friend, that one.
Wait, is that it? I guess it is. Okay, good talk. Okay, well, let's see the next one.
Why did you bring me here? It's so isolated.
That would be the point.
Yikes. See you around, B.
Hang on a second. Out here, in a place like this, you should be free to sigh, yeah?
What do you mean by that?
I just thought it would do you well to cut loose and sigh to your heart's content.
Really? You found a nice quiet place where you could annoy me without putting bystanders at risk?
Why does this always happen? That's not what I meant. This is me doing something nice for you. You said before that you can't ever relax because you're worried about endangering others. A lot's been going on recently, so let her rip already. Sigh until you can sigh no more.
That's nice of you. A chance to relax and sigh as I please. Sounds good. But what do we do about the monsters?
What do you think? A monster shows up, I punch it in the nose. Done deal.
By yourself?
I'm never alone, pal. These two fists are always by my side, and they never let me down.
Oh, right.
It doesn't have to be here if you have performance anxiety, but anytime you accidentally call a monster, just holler and I'll punch it to next Tuesday. In fact, maybe it's best if you just stick by my side from now on. Do that and you're free to sigh whenever the urge strikes.
Why would I have to stay by your side?
Not a lot of people in this world can knock out a beast without breaking a sweat. I'm one of them. And since I'm always on the run from bounty hunters, I'm an exceptionally light sleeper.
You expect me to sleep by your side too?
Ooh, this may be my best idea yet. If I'm always with a monster summoner, fewer people will come after my bounty. This is brilliant.
Never change, Bee. You're so predictable. Alright, have fun.
Have fun? That's an odd thing to do. Monsters, they're everywhere. This is gonna be a blast.
It's hard not to like that dummy.
Why was that last sentence in a tone as if it was gonna like go on and, you know, lead into another thing? Maybe it was originally supposed to lead into another sentence, but they edited it out? Because that sentence was like, you know, phrased in such a tone that it seemed like another sentence was gonna be following. Is the thing. Don't think you've really watched any of the DLC unit support since you haven't used them since the first time that you did. Yeah, I mean, I just want to like finish off this save file and then be on my merry way.
Delicious, is it not? There is little that can rival the taste of a freshly caught fish grilled to perfection over an open flame. I prefer mine with a pinch of salt.
Look at you, eating regular food like the rest of us regular folk.
It's only temporary. A fish from the river is a coin saved at the marketplace. My project will require every bit of gold I can spare.
Plus, there's a war going on. We've all got to save money however we can.
Constance, what is that shabby meal you're eating with such lowly company?
I suppose after all that's happened, she's given up on regaining her noble title. Probably for the best.
How dare you?
Would you two mind your own business? We're just trying to eat in peace.
Did you hear that? It sounds like a stray cat is screeching at us.
Oh dear, she's not using any silverware to speak of. She's just eating with her paws.
I'd expect that from a commoner, but Constance seems to be doing the same thing. How humiliating.
Oh, we're so vicious. Beating up on poor, pathetic Constance after all of her setbacks. What are you laughing at? Pardon my outburst, but I couldn't help myself after your ridiculous conversation. How I eat my fish has nothing to do with my status. In fact, I shall vow one thing now. When House Nouvelle is restored, I shall bite into a whole fish thrice weekly.
Pardon?
Moreover, Happy is a dear friend. I won't permit you to call her a stray cat or anything so insulting. We shall continue to remain steadfast friends, even after my title is restored.
And how soon do you expect that to happen?
We both know that if she carries on with such disgraceful behavior, she won't restore her house anytime soon. Well, for the upper class, those two seemed rather classless.
What just happened?
Oh, I knew them of old. They were callow noblewomen from the School of Sorcery.
No, I mean, you said that I'm a dear friend. Did you really mean that?
Oh, one says all sorts of things when one feels like being cruel. But yes, I really meant that. Even when I am a noble once more, I expect you to keep me company well into my dotage.
Of course, Coco. Won't be easy getting rid of me.
Alright, so that is probably the biggest, like, patch of support conversations we're gonna see for the rest of this playthrough, considering that was all, like, the post-time skip, a whole bunch of stuff catching up and stuff. Also, Doogie's here. During those support conversations, Doogie came and joined me over here, so we have a Doogie here now. Don't we now? She seems kind of tired. I guess I'll end the exploration, I suppose. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and end the exploration.